Okay, so even though he'll never see it, I'm basically making this video for John Carmack because I'm sick of hearing him say what he said in this video. Basically, just to kind of summarize what's going on here. Every time people ask John Carmack about Quake 1, he keeps saying, "Oh, we blew it. We shouldn't have tried to do the 3D renderer and the internet networking and all of this crazy stuff at once. We should have broken it up into two games, into two pieces, and then we could have gone out two games in only, 150% of the total time." But I'm just going to talk about, why I disagree with this so strongly, and you can listen to his statement here. Let me get this going. I got to cover up this scumbag's head too, because I can't stand fucking looking at his dirtbag face.
Mutual friend Joe Rogan, it seems like the most important moment of his life is centered around Quake. So it was a definitive part of his life. So would he agree with your thinking that they should split? So he, as a person who loves Quake and played Quake a lot, would he agree that you should have done the Doom engine and focus on the multiplayer for Phase 1? Or in your looking back, is the 3D world that Quake created was also fundamental to the enriching experience?
I would say that what would have happened is you would have had a Doom looking but Quake feeling game 8 months earlier, and then maybe 6 months after Quake actually shipped, then there would have been the full running on a Pentium 6 Degree of Freedom graphics engine type things there. So it's not that it wouldn't have been there. It would have been something amazingly cool earlier and then something even cooler somewhat later, where I would much rather have gone and done 2 one-year development efforts, cycle them through, be a little more pragmatic about that rather than killing us ourselves on the whole Quake development. But I would say it's obviously things worked out well in the end, but looking back and saying, how would I optimize and do things differently? That did seem to be a clear case where going ahead, and we had enormous momentum on Doom. We did Doom 2 as the kind of commercial boxed version after our shareware success with the original, but we could have just made another Doom game, adding those new features in. It would have been huge. We would have learned all the same lessons, but
Okay, so No, actually, you couldn't have done another Doom. So nobody was probably born yet, and so the people talking about it now don't even realize what it was actually like. But here's a refresher from someone who was actually there. So Doom 2 was actually a huge disappointment. I remember, basically everyone I knew being incredibly disappointed by Doom 2. When we first heard about Doom 2, we were like, oh my god, sequel to Doom, holy fucking shit, that's going to be crazy. And then it came out, and it was like, oh, it's a map pack. What the fuck? And really, like, the response to heterosexuals at the time was pretty much like, yeah, the super shotgun is cool, but this kind of sucks. I thought it was actually going to be a sequel. I mean, it was a scam to even call that game Doom 2. It should have just been called, like, Doom Hell on Earth or something. They shouldn't have even put the 2 in the title because it made you think it was actually a major release. But like Carmack just said there, it was just the commercial box version of Doom 1. Like, it wasn't even a new game. It was fucking boring. And, see, here's the thing. Carmack doesn't understand this because he's a fucking robot. But if you're human, you understand the psychology behind shit like this. The whole reason that Quake is so seminal and so well respected and such a watershed moment in gaming is because it did all those things at once. It's like I said, it's like it's another case of basically the total being more of the sum of its parts. Because it was the whole experience of getting hit with all of that shit at once that made it so overwhelming. And if you had broken it up piecemeal like that, it wouldn't have been impressive at all. And here's the thing too, like we have to put this back in context. Like I said, Carmack's a fucking robot. He doesn't think like a human being, so he doesn't actually realize any of this. But just imagine this scenario. So Quake 1, you had internet multiplayer, client server, networking, blah blah blah, right? But it had Doom, the original Doom's renderer, and it came out during the summer of. Well, not actually summer. Like at his projections say it came out in like January, 1996, or maybe even December 1995, right? So this would have put Doom in a place where Duke Nukem 3D came out and actually looked better than the id Software game. Are you fucking kidding me? You really think you were going to get away with that? Like, he's completely delusional. It wouldn't have been huge. People would have slammed that game. They would have said, oh man, like, id Software was kind of the hottest company making all of this, exciting, groundbreaking, technologically advanced stuff. And now 3D Realms has leaped ahead. They have a more advanced game than id Software. Wow, 3D Realms, the new king. Those would have been the bullshit articles that people would have been writing in, the computer games and video entertainment and shit magazines at the time. They would have said, hail to the new technology king, 3D Realms. It would have completely stolen all of the thunder from that game because they basically would have had nothing. They made these stripped down bare bones games that had no frills. And so it would have looked worse than Duke 3D, had none of its interactivity. It would have been a complete fucking failure, man. He doesn't even realize it. I mean, the funny thing is, he's actually not giving himself enough credit, for what they did. They actually made the right decision. The right decision was to go full steam ahead and kill yourself and make this crazy thing. And honestly, like, that game is the linchpin of Carmack's mystique. It's actually why everybody respects him so much, because he really did just bust his ass for 2 years, for 2 solid fucking years, put the weight of the world on his shoulders and hunker down and do amazing shit. That is why people respect him so much. I mean, honestly, the stuff after Quake is kind of ho-hum, to be perfectly fucking honest. Like it's not that great. Like Quake 1 was the game where I was like, okay, this game is like 2 years ahead of the competition. This is huge. This is insane. Like, nobody can even hang with this game. And so I'm so fucking sick of him saying this shit, because it's so easy to say this crap in hindsight. But honestly, it would have been fucking horrific if Quake had Doom graphics. Like that would have been complete fucking dog shit. And here's the other thing too. Once again, this is just Carmack, he's always way too optimistic with his projections on games and everything. He claims, oh yeah, we could have got, Quake out, 6 to 8 months earlier, and then we could have got, the 3D version of it out 6 months after. You bull fucking shit. You weren't gonna finish all the fucking maps and do all that shit in 6 months, and the art in 6 months. What the fuck are you talking about? It would have taken longer than that anyway. So what really would have happened is a shitty disappointment would have come out. It would have completely, destroyed, id's reputation at the time. It made them look like a joke compared to 3D Realms. And then it would have probably taken them another year and a half to shit out the next one. It would have been a complete fucking mess. And think about how like much that would have fucked up the timeline. If they hadn't got Quake out, had that engine available, all the licenses, all the licensees, wouldn't have had access to that Quake 1 engine and been able to do shit, like building, Half-Life and building all that other. No, dude. Like, this is complete fucking bullshit. Like I said, you can't. See, here's the problem. Artists are terrible judges of themselves, because when they look at the art that they create, all they can see is the flaws and the regrets and the mistakes. And I should have done this. I should have done that. Oh God, that's all they can see because they're too close to it. But if you're detached, if you can just look at it for what it is, that game is just a tremendous achievement. And I'm telling you, games are not about fucking pragmatism. They're not about doing the most basic, boring thing. And that is actually one of the fundamental differences between today's games and the games of the past. In the past, you would play a game and be like, I cannot fucking believe that they did this. This is fucking insane. Like, they actually did that. Holy fuck. That must have been a ton of work. I cannot believe that they bent over backwards and actually put in that much effort. And then today you play a game, it's like, oh yeah, that's about right. Yeah. Given that the game's time frame and like the budget and how long they had to work on it, yeah, that seems about right. They plugged in the numbers to the formula and you got the exact output that you thought you were gonna get. It's fucking boring, man. Nobody wants pragmatism. They want moonshot, pie in the sky, let's put all our fucking cards on the table, let's go full steam ahead, let's go fucking ballistic, and let's blow people's minds. That's what games used to be about, and I'm really fucking disgusted that he's basically saying like, oh yeah, we shouldn't have been great. We shouldn't have done the things that actually earned us the respect that we have today. Fuck you, Carmack. Fuck you. And I'll say this too. You know, even if you fail, if your goal is so ambitious, if it's so completely unbound and ambitious, and you only accomplish 75% of what you thought you were going to, if you're ambitious enough, that 75% is 500% to the end users. Because you were so fucking ambitious, so far ahead of what anyone thought that you were going to do, even if you don't completely succeed in everything, you're still going to blow people's fucking wigs off. You have to be goddamn ambitious. You have to bite off, more than you can chew. That's how great shit is made. So like I said, basically he can't see that, because for him it was 2 years of hell. It was misery. He was just a pissed off, angry piece of shit working on that game, looking at Romero chatting people up on IRC while he was busting his fucking ass, and that's all he can see in it. All he can see is that he killed himself for 2 years and it was fucking miserable. But like I said, just because it was miserable for the artist doesn't mean that it was miserable for the people that actually got the end product. So that I just want to say that, because the thing that pisses me off, he's such a stubborn fucking robot. When he's 80 years old, he'll be doing interviews with fucking jackasses saying like, oh yeah, we should have broken Quake 1 up into 2. Yeah, fuck you. No, you shouldn't have. It would have been a fucking train wreck, dude. Okay, and basically, this is the last thing I'm ever going to say about John Carmack, because I actually, Doom, Knee Deep in the Dead, and Quake 1 multiplayer are two of the best things that gaming has ever had. Two of the best things. So I can't give him higher praise than that. I mean that they're up there. I mean, like basically, you can't really have more fun playing a game than Knee Deep in the Dead, Doom 1, and Quake 1 multiplayer. Like there really isn't anything that's any better. But I'll just say this: that virtual reality shit, that VR shit. I saw another interview with Carmack, and he says, well, the thing about VR that's so great is that it can allow people to have experiences that they're not realistically able to in real life. Like, for example, even if you live in a shitty little apartment and you have a job at Pizza Hut, you can put on a VR helmet and you can simulate watching a movie on a 200-inch projector screen. Well, go fuck yourself, because I think that's actually a very disturbing statement. It's a very disturbing trend. I don't like the fact that VR, after it's failed, in terms of gaming, like nobody has been able to ship a single seminal VR game. There is no must-have VR game. It's a complete fucking flop. They're basically trying to sell it now as, oh, it's a way to do things that you can't do because you're a fucking impoverished poor bastard. And to me, that's just so slimy, so insulting. It's like, I mean, talk about just looking down at your fucking users. I think that sets a terrible precedent, and I really don't like the way this whole thing is going, because I don't want the way our society goes to be like, well, things can just keep getting shittier and shittier for you. You can keep working shittier jobs. You can keep getting less money. You can keep having worse and worse living conditions. But hey, it's fine. Just slap a fucking VR helmet on. Just glue some fucking, cell phone to your forehead, and everything will be fucking fine. No, fuck you. Fuck you. How about less virtual reality and more fucking reality? How about let's start improving people's lives so they're not fucking miserable, as opposed to, hey, let's make the misery of people's lives something less unbearable. No, fuck that shit. VR is fucking snake oil. It sucks. There's no good control interface for it. There are no good games for it. It's fucking crap. And I'll just say this about VR too. You know what VR actually stands for? It stands for vagina repellent, because that's what it fucking is, man. You strap on one of those fucking goggles, and basically you're gonna hear the stampede of every biological female, running away from you. I mean, I'll put it this way: like, the speed of light is not as fast as we can go because they'll go fucking faster than that. I mean, Einstein was fucking wrong because women will run away from you faster than the fucking speed of light as soon as you put on those goddamn goggles. Fuck VR. It's fucking stupid. And goddamn it, Carmack, stop fucking saying that about Quake 1. Stop fucking saying that you shouldn't have been great. I mean, really, like, when I see this shit, I see somebody saying, I shouldn't have been great. I should have been a fucking boring loser like everyone. Fuck that, man. Fuck that.